All right, looks like we are live. So, hey everyone, welcome to our Inner Shaolin Q&A session. We have pretty much every Tuesday. I won't say all Tuesdays, but we try to have them every Tuesdays, weather permitting and technology permitting. We'll be here every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And to answer your questions about obviously Kung Fu, martial arts, health, wellness, you want to know their favorite video games, favorite movies. I mean, anything you guys and gals want to talk about, it's pretty much open season within reason.
Yo, Sifu, wake up!
He does look a little tired tonight. So I'm your host, CJ Jamie. Sifu Larry is going to be managing the YouTube chat over on YouTube. He's going to hook you up and make sure that your questions get over to us. And Sifu Fu is going to help us make sure all your questions get answered, unless obviously it's directed at me or Sifu Larry. Then we'll help you and take care of you as well. If you are live with us on Zoom, please make sure to use the Q&A section for your questions. If you just want to do general chat, use the chat. And for those of you on YouTube going, what am I on Slack? I don't know. You're not. You're on YouTube. Pretty simple. So if you're at youtube.com, you're fine. You're not on the Zoom with us or anything like that. And let me see. Is there anything that I want to cover before we get started? I'm going to wait for some questions to come in. And real quick, I just wanted to let you all know if you would still like to come to our Tai Chi seminar. And I would say if you are in a 3-hour radius, but especially an hour and a half radius, you should be there. I'm just throwing that out there. There is still some availability for that. So hit me up at innershaolin.com/seminar and just fill out the form and the information will go over to me and I will make sure that you get all set up and ready to go. I'm really looking forward to meeting some new faces, as well as some people that I just know from my interaction with you guys and gals online. So I'm super excited. Plus, we have some people that have been to quite a few of our seminars, a couple that have been to all of our seminars. So that's really cool just to see the different dynamics and all the different type of people that we're going to get to meet up with. And also at the end of this, I have a special little thing that I want to share with all of you. So make sure you stay tuned for more information on that. So while we wait for some questions to come in, I was going to ask Sifu something, but I see something already came in. So Brian says, I know the Baltimore seminar is right here, but do you know the dates for the seminar in June? Yes. Give me a moment. Actually, I'm going to be sending out, so I'm going to send out a survey in regards to this tomorrow. But the dates that we had set were for the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So we're going to send out a survey and see who all can be there for that. And just make sure that we have enough people that are available to go and all that good stuff like that. But it will be in Fort Lauderdale. And we're looking at the weekend of June 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. All right. And let's see what else we got going on.
I'm hoping to make it.
Right, me too. I'm super excited. My brother and sister-in-law live in Fort Lauderdale, and I would love to invite them.
If we don't get enough people, we're not going. I don't even know what to say.
So guess what? Y'all better register. I'm just saying. And usually, well, it won't be too hot down in Florida, but even if it is, there'll be a pool, there'll be a beach, you can cool off, just saying. Plus we'll make sure to keep you well hydrated so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. But yeah, I'm excited because I'm hoping to have my brother and sister-in-law at least like get to come for like a day or something and just see what we do and get to see kind of, you know, behind the scenes of what we do here at Inner Shaolin. So I think that'll be neat. Let's see here. Steven says, could Sifu demo how we would execute a bong sao? I missed the last time Sifu touched on it.
Only one question topic per webinar.
I was going to say, you could have just watched the replay. Just saying, Steven. But
well,
we'll share. We'll be nice. We'll be nice. We'll share. Come on, Sifu. Give up the goods.
A lot of people teach bong sao as in hitting from the top over and down. And that's really not how a bong sao should be. A bong sao should actually come from like a woo, hit from the arm up and rotate. The reason why you want to do that is because you're controlling both the left side and the right side of your arm. If you hit from the top side, you're aiming on hitting the arm down. The problem with doing that is you're committing for one thing. Two, if the punch has an arc in it, if the guy's punching and he raises his arm, it can knock your arm off course. So it can throw your projection off and throw your point control off. The other thing is it's a lot of stress on the shoulder. So you don't want to do that. A bong sao, if you're doing a bong sao properly, it should come up and rotate and keep the balance between the wrist and the elbow together. Now, depending on the force, it could turn left, it could turn right. And you're able to do both sides. For example, if I'm bonging, the pressure comes more on this side, well, then my hand can hook. If it comes more this side, then the arm can hook. I'm playing on a neutral level, so that way, any changes the person makes, I have the ability to adapt. Remember, you have to have the ability to adapt to change of pressure. If not, you're committing to it. And the problem with committing to pressure is if it's not exactly to what it is you think it is, or it's not exactly to where it is, you can't execute the technique properly. For example, people who do tam dar and hook punch, if the arc goes greater, most of the time it slips through and it breaks in, and tam dar is useless. You have to have the ability to adapt. The bong sao is hits, it protects you in the line, but it also, because you're hitting anywhere along the arm, you're not target specific, you're more general specific. So I can bomb from here, I can bomb from here, I can bomb from here. So long as I come up, hit the arm, and rotate and keep it neutral, I can play it any way now. I can, like I said, hook from this side, hook on this side. If the pressure's coming in, I can choose. If it's not strong enough, I can just lop dar it. I can do anything I want. I have the option. I have the ability to adapt, and I have the ability to choose, not have to recover from. I should be covered, not recovering. So bong sao is not something you want to throw over top and around, which a lot of people do. A bong sao can actually come on top of someone's arm and rotate and cut on the outside and come from across. A bong sao is very useful. It has a lot of ranges in terms of it could be from over top, it could be from on the bottom, it could be from the left side to the right side of a strike. You don't have to sit there and go, well, it's when he throws a right punch, then I have to do a left bomb. You can throw a right bomb on a left punch, or vice versa. The thing is you have to find point control, not dedicate to a force on one side to overwhelm or overcome. The problem with that is, if he's not overwhelmed or overcome, then what are you going to do if he puts the pressure on you? So it's really not a good thing to try and commit to a movement. It can work well if you get it right, but it works very bad if you get it wrong. So it's not a chance you want to take. I always tell my students, do you want to bet your house on black or red in casinos? Like, if you win big, but if you lose, you lose big. It's not something you want to take a chance on. You want to stay neutral, you want to control the point, and then you want to adapt to the basic energy. Now, if it's like, what happens if he doesn't have a left or right? Well, then choose. It's not left, not right, it's neutral. You get to pick. If it's to the right, then you go to the right. If it's to the left, you go to the left. But a bong sao should come upward and forward. It should not come over and downward. A lot of people say a bong sao is this downward strike. That's not a bong sao. If you look at all your deflections, there shouldn't be a commitment into the hands, like throw the arm this way. The tam sao is a rise up and towards the shoulder. It's not a push out to the side. Pak sao should be forward and center. It should be forward extended and pushed down. Those are committed deflections, which is actually the wrong way to do it. You're actually trying to overwhelm or overcome someone. Now, it may work if you're big and strong and someone's not skilled and weak, but when you put that in the reverse order, the guy's big and strong and he's got some skill behind it, it's not going to work too well for you. That's why you see a lot of people throwing their weight, because their energy and their balance is off in the projection. And so they compensate. I always say, what you lack in skill, you make up in strength. And you're going to wind up using strength to back up the lack of skill you have, thinking that that's skill, but it's not. Skill is a technique in which you don't need to rely on force, to rely on a lot of force, I say, to rely on strength to make up the technique work. It should be the control of the point that makes the technique work, not the strength behind it.
Absolutely. And that really is one of those moves that if you really don't have the proper structure and a person bears down on you, you can totally mess up all kinds of things. So definitely make sure you get your bong saws right, everyone, and listen to those awesome tips that Sifu just shared. Douglas says, now I understand the bong sao much better. Absolutely. So glad that helped you, Douglas. And hopefully that helped some of the rest of you all out there. And I'm sure those that are going to be listening later are going to get some gold nuggets on this one too. So Curtis says, how far ahead do you plan seminars? He said, could you put up a tentative schedule for the year, or do you plan that far ahead? For example, the Florida seminar sounds good to me and I can plan for that one starting now. So normally, well, I shouldn't say normally, because we just started doing our seminars last year. So we're kind of new and fresh to this. Generally, we try to give 6 months. But with this past seminar, a couple things happened that just really messed us up between having a hard time finding a hotel. Apparently that particular time frame was extremely popular everywhere we were looking. Plus we had to work within our budget, which means we needed to stay relatively semi-local and driving distance to save a little bit of money on our travel expenses. And also we had to work around Sifu Larry's wife's schedule because she's a nurse. And so there's a lot of different things that go behind
And kids.
and kids and food schedule, and and my schedule, it's just whoa, a lot of going on. So so normally we try to do that much, but we had a hard time finding it. Then my mom passed away, so that put me off a little bit, and it's just been kind of really crazy. So that's normally we try to give at least 6 months. So I will be thinking, I'm trying to think, the Sifu, you're going to be going to Israel in May, so that puts you, I would say after this Fort Lauderdale one, that our next one is tentatively going to be possibly in October. So, but as soon as I have more information on that, you guys and gals will always know. As soon as we know.
Let's say October, November.
Yeah, I would say October, November. Yeah. We wanted to try to have 4 seminars this year, but it's just, there's just no way that's going to happen. But I do think we can definitely get 3 in, which I'm excited about, because last year we were only able to do 1. So as each year grows and we have more resources to our disposal, then we can make room for more seminars. So that is our plan, is just to continue every year to be able to do something more, to just get out there and meet you all and train with you all and different stuff like that. So as our resources grow, our schedule will grow to accommodate different areas and different parts of the world, and especially different parts of the country at first. So hopefully that helps. Sifu Larry sent over from World Mixed Arts. Are you able to compare NDN to Sun style Tai Chi? My concern is joint issues with the knees. Just curious.
Well, I don't think I ever learned. I know I didn't learn Sun style, so I can't refer to what Sun style is. I learned Chun style, but not Sun style. So it's not something I can answer for. But in terms of joint issues on the knees, you got to watch that where your knee is. The rule is generally just make sure that your foot should be planted flat, so you're not favoring this side, this side, this side, or this side. You want to feel like you're flat to the floor. If you do that, your knees should be turning to adjust to that, and it should be right. Never go basically with your knees past your front ball. If you do, you start to stress out the knees. So we don't want to do that either. So no more than the front ball. Make sure if you do that too, that your body don't slouch. If you slouch, you put a lot of stress on your knees as well. So you got to be highest head on most earth. So your core should be very strong, down rooted from the shoulders to the hips to the floors. Again, never exceed that 70-30. If your knees turn in, they should turn in to get the feet to be flat. So your knees go out a little bit. You'll feel the weight coming out to the edge of your foot. That's too much. Turn your knees in a little bit. Your knees should not feel stressed. Now, I've learned Chun style, and Chun style causes stress in the knees because of a lot of those low sinking types of movement. I did it for a while. I didn't like it. I didn't stick with it because it just caused too much stress on the knees. For me, I like Yang style because it's natural to the body movement. So I maintained the Yang style. I just focused on that more than any other style. Like I said, I learned Shun, I learned Wu. I mean, not Shun, I was going to say Shun. Shin, Wu, Chen, and Yang. And of all, I stuck with the Yang because it was the most natural way the body moves. Everything else, like Wu style, was a little short in the feet, and I felt like I was kind of tilted forward. And I thought, well, we would take smaller steps so we can get in tighter. It wasn't natural to me, so I didn't stay with that Chen style. Like I said, it was just too much low. I did a lot of it for a long time, and it started hurting my knees. And I said to my teacher, is it common my knees are supposed to be hurting this way? So much, he said, he said a lot of people, they start to veer away from Chen style as they get older. They start going to Yang style because Chen style is a lot of demand on the knees. When you're younger, it's not too bad, but when you get older, it's a lot of stress on the knees. So I was like, then why do people do it? And so I just stuck with the Yang. Yang stayed with me, and I like Yang overall. I like I said, I learned the 4 styles, and to me, Yang style and Shun style is actually very, very close to each other. They're like brothers and sisters. They were so close. The form was exactly the same in terms of postures, identical. I mean, I didn't have to change anything. I was like, wow, it's the exact same one I've learned on the Yang. The postures are slightly different here and there, but just slightly. It wasn't like was all totally off, but it was very close. But I stuck with the yang because that's the one I started. I do like it, so I stay with that. But if your knees are aching, you're somewhere along the lines creating too much forward pressure, leaning, which causes your feet to dig into the ground more, which stresses the knee. You could be staying on the sides of the foot, excuse me, which is kind of cause stress to that. So you want to feel the flatness of your feet from the outside, the inside, front ball, and the heel, and have that straight down. So you have to turn your knees to make that feeling. And if you do that, you shouldn't have a problem with your knees. Now, if you still have a problem with your knees and everything is right, you got to go and see a doctor. There's something wrong with your knees then. Because everything else, if you do it right, it's supposed to be natural to the knees. It's supposed to be the most relaxed way your knees should work and the least amount of stress for you. So if you do feel like, oh, now it's one thing if you feel a burn, okay? Burning sensation is fine and aching sensation is not. Just recognize the difference, okay? So if you're not conditioned, you're not used to standing for 10 minutes and having that pressure shifting back and forth, then you say, my knees burn. It means you're out of shape. You're not conditioned. That's all it means. But if it aches, it's another story. It means there's something wrong.
Awesome. Thank you, Sifu, for those tips. And I will just write that down so we can kind of look at some Sun style stuff later. And then you can maybe give another critique on that and how it varies from the NDN style. But for those of you that are listening and you are doing a different version of Tai Chi, you can apply Nodak Na principles to that to make the body mechanics proper so you don't have problems with your joints and knees and different things like that. So keep that in mind. Steve Larry sent over from Makuro. He says, I tried to pick up Wing Chun or Tai Chi. What is the difference between them for self-defense? I watch Tai Chi videos. They do slowly. Why Tai Chi is training slowly? Question mark.
What's the difference self-defense? Time training. I mean, Tai Chi is much more involved. It takes a lot more. Wing Chun is actually probably the fastest way of learning self-defense. If learned from a proper teacher, there's a lot of improper training from a lot of teachers, so I can't say. Wing Chun today has got a bad rep, and I think the problem is because Wing Chun has been taught to defend against Wing Chun. They haven't really trained outside that. You know, I've seen a lot of Wing Chun schools say, oh, hook punches are stupid. It's not the quickest way. Straight line will beat it. Well, if you never learn how to see and deal with a hook punch, if somebody does it, you have no experience of handling it, and it's going to take you by surprise. You need to train a proper teacher that would teach you from all ranges, from all angles, you know, and apply the Wing Chun system, right? Wing Chun was once an excellent system. I think today, like karate was, back in the day, they'd say karate was powerful. It's hard to beat. Today, you know, with competitions, people training for the competition, it gets watered down. People train more for that. They lose the essence of what real combat is. And I think more along the lines, Wing Chun has become that, you know, it's just, they don't really train against a fighter who fights outside the world of Wing Chun. A great example is when people do a tandar, you know, they do this and they say it works on a hook punch, and yet they fight a boxer, it fails them. And there's a reason why. I know the reason why. It's because of that training that they do and the way they throw a punch. It's not realistic. Most Wing Chun people throw a hook punch with the elbows down. A real boxer will throw with the arms up. And that's going to change everything. So you're practicing a Wing Chun world because they're taught to punch with the elbows down. When they throw a hook punch, like they're trying to be a street fighter, they throw with the elbows down. So a tandar will work because the elbow's down. But a boxer, a Muay Thai guy, they throw with the elbows up. They arc it. And so with the elbow up, it changes the angle of the connection with your tandar, and it fails all the time. And that's because, like I said, you have to have the ability to adapt to change. That's why I always talk about the default hands of Wu. You should connect to the Wu, because from there you can turn and adapt to anything. Once you throw a tan, you lose the adaptability, and so it's ineffective when it changes, and so it's no good. In terms of like the difference between the two, Tai Chi to me encompasses a lot more. It deals with arcs, it deals with angles more, whereas Wing Chun, I'm not saying doesn't deal with arc, but a lot of people today tail the Wing Chun more to straight lines, and the only arc they have is straight in here, and they don't lose, they lose the outside arcs, and which is very necessary because most of these punches that knock people out are from the arc punches. It's from the round to hook punches, not straight lines. Straight lines, it's not that powerful. You know, a hook punch will knock a guy out over a straight line. Okay, straight line hurts. It can stun him and bring him back. But it's very rare that you get a punch that can knock a guy out on a straight line. It's the round punches that can knock people out, the hook punches that can knock people out. You have to learn to create the power from the piston shot rather than just throw a straight line. And there's a way to do that. You know, it's the three proof. The straight lines, you want to create not forceful punches, you want to create piercing punches. People could take a forceful punch, but a piercing punch is different. And that's what we want to work on, the piercing strike. Tai Chi, it's a lot longer. And people say Tai Chi is no good. You know, a lot of people say this is no good, that's not good. That's because they either, if they're practicing against somebody, it's because they don't know how to do it right. You know, I always say too often, it's not the technique that fails you, it's you that failed the technique. And so then you sit there and say it's the technique's fault. That's not always the technique's fault. Sometimes it's the practitioner's fault. You see today in MMA, a lot of these strikers are beating grapplers. Does that mean that grappling lost its effectiveness? No, it just means that that guy wasn't able to handle the striking behind the grappling. And so there's adaptability. You know, in the beginning, strikers lost the grapplers because they didn't know how to strike at that ground range. Today, we have the ground and pound. They adapted. They learn how to do it. For grapplers, they have to learn how to handle the striking part. They have to adapt, and they have to learn how to do that. And you know, that's what styles are. They're designed to grow. They're designed to change, to adapt to today's, whatever the modern fighting style today is. Today's modern fighting style is MMA. But, you know, back in the days, one style Kung Fu was designed sometimes to counter specifically to another style Kung Fu. It might be like, I can't think of a name, like off the top of my head, like drunken style was designed to beat Hung Gar, let's say, because Hung Gar was so powerful. So the drunken style was designed to be deceptive, you know, and stuff like that. So you have to adapt. And that's what, you know, to go that the NDN system's so good at, because it has the ability to adapt. It has adaptability. And that's what you really, really want to make sure that you have, the ability to adapt, to change your pressure, change your angle, change your force. You know, that's what you want. To me, I always tell people, you know, style is just something man made up. It's the word man made up. You're looking for the energy, because no matter what system you take, they all share the same thing. They all share energy. They all share how to work energy, or how to go against energy, or how to control energy. That's what they go by. Technique, or the name of a style, it's just like this. You can say Wing Chun. Well, you can say this is Tai Chi. If I turn this a little bit, you can say it's karate. You can say it's Hung Gar. You go whatever. I always say a punch is a punch is a punch, a punch is kicks, kicks, a kicks, a kick. It really depends on how you do it that makes the difference, and how you connect that between one transition to another that makes the difference. You know, and that's what you want to practice on the energy behind what you do, not on what you do. It's the energy behind what you do. I can take this punch, and I've had people hit me hard. I mean, hard as they can. I take it, I eat it, and then I teach them how to do it the right energy control, and they wind up hurting me afterwards. But in the beginning, I've taken Muay Thai elbow shots, not in the face, but in the body. You know, I wouldn't take it in the face. It would break my nose, break my teeth. You know, but I've taken shots all the time, and it doesn't hurt. And people say, well, you're strong. It's like, no, it's not because I'm strong. It's because when they strike, they have a weakness in the energy. And once I teach them how to not break that point, then they can hurt me. And I've done that. I've taught that to other people where they couldn't hurt me. And then once I finished teaching them, then they could hurt me. I'm like, wow, okay, that's good. You know, think of a knife. If I have a very sharp knife and I come at you, but I stab you this way, how hard can I stab you? It's not because the knife was bad. It's because of the way I project the energy behind the knife that was bad. And then I can say, oh, it's a knife. The knife is bad. It's no good. It's not because the knife is bad. It's because of the way I drove the energy behind the knife that was bad. That's the same thing when you do techniques. It's how you drive the energy behind your techniques that's going to make or break what you do. And we teach you how to make the energy behind whatever you do right. So you're learning through the nature of the universe, universal laws of energy, you know, and the way the body works and doesn't work.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sifu, for all that. That was some good information. Ron says, wish I could make the Tai Chi seminar and plan on attending one of the Indian seminars this summer. Awesome. That's good to hear. We're looking forward to that. Let's see.
Yay, Ron.
Mohammed says, could you please tell me more about finger exercises?
Finger exercises?
Yeah, like how to strengthen them, I'm assuming.
Okay. Oh, there's you know, you can build finger exercise through dexterity. You can build it through strength. You can build it through technique. So I didn't know what he meant by that. In terms of strength, go get a racquetball. Put it in the palm. Take your fingertips. Make sure the tips touch the ball. And then with all of them together at one time, or individually, or couples, or whatever you want to do, start squeezing the tips and get it into your palm. That's going to develop your strength in your fingers. That's one of the techniques I use to get my hands very, very strong, besides stick training and stuff like that. But, you can take this ball. If you're driving a car, you can have it with you when you're at work. If you're not, always hands on. And let's say you got a time for your hands to grab stuff, you can just like that. And you can practice developing your strength through that. So that's one way. Now, if you're talking about, like dexterity, timing, one of the things you can practice is just relaxing your wrist and learn how to strike forward and getting your fingers to come out at the same time. So you can see I can draw my fingers out with my wrist. That's timing and technique. That's developing that. So you can like put it on a pillow and just practice in injecting, snapping your wrist and checking the fingers at the same time. That'll be technique. Dexterity, there's like techniques that I do that I teach people how to do it with their fingers, so that they learn this certain way to do it. And I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to share with you. I just kind of randomly did. But you have to go to the site to see that. But I already gave you the strength training exercises, okay, and the technique and timing for that. So there's a dexterity way to do it.
What you're saying is if you want more,
come to the site.
You got to sign up.
Yes.
Become a member. If you're not sure how to do that, go to enershaolin.com/join. Very, very simple. Or just go to enershaolin.com. There's right in the top menu, it says join. It's super simple. There you go. And then you'll get all the goods. But for now, you got some stuff to work on. So hopefully that helps you with working on your fingers and getting that strength. And you want to know more about the dexterity and some other goodies, you know where to find us. All right. So let's see here if I have any questions. That one. Stevie Lair, do you want me to answer this one? About the song, or did you answer that one?
I answered it.
Okay. All right. We're good on that one. So that one was taken care of. Let me see here real quick. I think I had one thing that came through earlier today, and the person did not get back to me, but I believe I knew what they meant. So let me see if I can find it. Oh, hold on one second. I'll be right back. Okay, so I don't know if this is meant to be a funny question or not, but Mohammed also wants to know, I want you to tell me how to break anything with one finger. How can I do that?
It depends on what you're breaking. If you want to break a piece of paper, it's easy. Just hang the piece of paper in, use speed and acceleration. I've jammed my fingers through watermelon. Not one finger, but all my fingers through watermelon. So when I was young, I put a hole in it. It was the most painful thing in my life. I was young. I wanted to see if I could do it. I jammed into it. It was one of those oblong watermelons, and I jammed into it, and my fingers hurt for months.
So what you're saying is you probably shouldn't start with the watermelon, right?
No, yeah, not the watermelon. But I wanted to see if I could do it. I jammed into it. I did pierce it. I went like this deep into it, and it hurt. It hurt a lot. I was young. I was like, I think I could do it. I can do it. And I just focused my mind. I saw myself going through it. I imagined the energy that was in my fingers. I said, that's not going to slow me down. I'm going to continue. I could feel the pressure hit my fingers before I hit it. I could see it in my mind. So I could feel it in my energy. And I was like, I'm not going to let that slow me down. I'm going to actually continue to drive through. I could feel the pressure without even touching it. And when I did it, it was exactly what I envisioned it. But I did. I went through it. But after, I was like, oh, my fingers hurt for months. And today I still fear hitting it again. Because although I did it, it hurt a lot. Right? I was very young. I was like in my teens.
So Mohammed, don't start with the watermelon. But as far as being able to break anything, I mean, I don't think that there's one person on the face of the planet that can break through anything and everything with their fingers. But there's a lot of conditioning you can do.
Well, there's like a system in the snake style. We call it a snake tail. And you learn how to support the finger with the thumb, and you use the tip of the first finger like this, and you can hit and create a piercing technique through that. And it's very painful. I mean, it's painful.
I'm sure. Yeah, no, you can do some damage with your fingers. That's for sure.
Learn how to create this arc that's driving behind the arc and the curve with the finger at the same time. It's like taking a very sharp object, stabbing, and then creating a scooping motion. That's the best thing I can tell you. It's like, and it's very, very powerful. I've demonstrated with people, and they're all like, "Yeah, don't hit me with that." Ever.
I know Larry's gotten me with just one finger, and that it just hurts. It just hurts when it's done right. So, but I don't. But what I'm saying is, he wants like how to do this, and this works every time to break anything and everything.
Listen, your body's limited. You know, you can't go through 2 inches of steel. I mean, you're not
Maybe
Superman, the Hulk, or
don't watch so many movies.
You know, but there are 3 things that could make a powerful hit. Okay? Knowing when to hit. For example, status of person, if he's ready, he's going to be able to take more. If you hit him when he's not ready, it's going to hurt more. Where to hit. If I do this in your eyeball versus I do this in your skull here, of course, it's going to hurt your eyeball more.
Oh my goodness.
And how to hit, obviously. If I'm doing this and I'm hitting and I draw my wrist away, I'm not driving my energy to the point in which if I do this, I turn my finger into it, I can draw the energy into it. So 3 things make a very powerful hit, you know, and it doesn't matter whether it's your fist, your fingers, whatever. It's any contact you make. And it's knowing where to hit, how to hit, and when to hit. Those are the 3 factors that makes an effective strike. So put that in mind, whether you're using your fingers, your wrists, your knuckles, your chin, your shoulders, it doesn't matter.
And work on conditioning your fingers too.
So all those, they make the difference. Your fingertips, like I said, 1 finger alone. If I poke that in your eyeball, yeah, it'll hurt a lot. But if I do this side of your temple, your head, like here in the skull, but not the temple, you might feel it. You might not like it, but it's not going to do as much. Just remember, for every action, you know, you can get a opposite equal reaction if your force is not stronger than their resistance. So the idea is, if your force is weaker in terms of your structural integrity, is weaker than their structural integrity, then you have to make it up with pinpoint accuracy and acceleration to compensate for his stronger structure than your stronger structure. But you know, if the guy's got a strong structure, why don't you use 1 finger towards his head? I would just use it towards his eyes. I'd use it towards the soft tissue, like go to the side of the nose, go to the neck. These are softer tissue points rather than going like the jawline. This would hurt my finger more than this would. So I wouldn't just use it to test myself to see what I can withstand. There's a limitation to how your structural integrity is. And the idea is, like I said, if my finger is not stronger than your skull, why would I hit your skull with it? I would hit your eyeball with it. I would hit the side of your nose with it. I'd go to your gut, your inner thigh. There are weak points in the body. I mean, there's always weak points in the body. Nobody's that tough. You know, the strongest man in the world can't take a finger to the eyeball.
So what you're saying is, don't do extra work if you don't have to.
Be wise in what you do. You know, be wise, knowing when and where and how to hit. Those are the factors that can make or break the strike.
A lot of sense to me. Hopefully that helps you, Mohammed. So let's see here. Tempa says, hi, Seafood. Does Nodakna use broken rhythm?
Yes, we use rhythm and broken rhythm. We go to rhythm. We go up, pause, we go come down. We do that. We don't want to just stay in a rhythm. People can figure out a rhythm and take you. Like in boxing.
You want some pattern disrupts. You know, even speakers know to do a pattern disrupt, because otherwise your brain doesn't pay attention. But with fighting, you want to confuse the person instead. Yep. Always good to switch it up. So I don't know even how to pronounce this next style. So if I butcher it, I totally apologize in advance, everyone. So Vladimir says, hi, has Sifu had any experience with Bak Me Pei? If so, can you share some advice? Bak Me Pai.
P-A-I is pie.
Pie. Okay, so pie instead of pay. Check. All right.
The answer to that is no. If that's spelled right, Bak Me Pai, I've never had experience in it, so I can't share that. I've seen Wu Mei Pai. Wu Mei Pai is basically the father to Wing Chun. Wu Mei Pai is like the grandchild or the child of 5 animals, and is basically the father or the mother, whatever you want to think of it, to Wing Chun. That's Wu Mei Pai. I don't know what Bak Me Pai is. So if it's similar to that, then yeah, I can tell you. But if it's not, I don't know. I can't answer for Bak Me Pai. I have no idea. I've never seen it. So I can't answer it. But I know Wu Mei Pai. Wu Mei Pai is a derivative of the 5 animals. They actually create lines like this, and they actually how to come in like this. And that's the Wu Mei Pai. I've seen that. and that's where you get Wing Chun hands, where they they were here. Wu Mei Pai is more here, and they create lines in this type of motion. Was Wing Chun curtailed even shorter and went straight, more direct. So I can answer for that, but I can't answer for Bak Mei Pai. So unless it's like Wu Mei Pai. So next question, please.
Sorry about that. I just got totally distracted by something Sifu Larry was sharing with me, which I will share with Sifu tomorrow, and then maybe we'll share it with you all on Friday. We'll see. It's about a video that just came out, so it sounded pretty interesting about Tai Chi. Let's see here. So, Douglas said, Sifu, you mentioned stick training. Can you tell us what that is?
Easy. You're a member of the site. Just we have it in the core trainings. There's basically stick training exercise that we do. It's designed specifically to train the wrist in all kinds of angles. So it's all there. We've done a lot of stick training exercises for the wrist control and for the strength of the wrist as well. I don't have a stick here, and besides, I don't have a space.
Hold on. I'll go get you one so you can see what it looks like. But I'm not doing the exercise, so I don't have enough room here.
Well, you can use a broom. You can use any stick that has weight, has some force. So you can take anything at any length, at any thickness, and use it. You don't have to have a standard size like that. That's a pole that you can use. You can get a broomstick. You can get a broomstick.
No, this is a lot heavier than a broomstick, so you might want to start out with a broomstick. I'm just saying, or a bamboo stick. They're really light.
Yeah, and you got to start off what you can do. If you don't have a stick, go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, go to one of the wood section, and you buy yourself a broom closet type of stick.
Yep.
And you can use that. So you can use anything really. If you don't have a long enough stick, it's not heavy, attach a magazine at the end of it. Tape magazine. That's going to create weight, and that's going to add force for you. So you can do that.
Your computer, I think, is making noises.
No, it's my son's friend. The Xbox is linked to the same account. So
is there a way to close the notifications down?
I don't know how. It's coming up.
Dude. All right, just being silly. Let me see what else I was going to say. Also, we are going to have some self-defense, well, not self-defense, no deck na style, Wing Chun style, stick style training. That will be coming up soon because it's supposed to be spring, but it's not quite spring yet here. So it's kind of confused. One day it's nice, next day it's not so nice. So the weather, I'm thinking sometime after we get back from the seminar, God willing, we will have a break in the weather, and then we'll be able to start working on the weapon training, which stick will be part of that. But for you, Douglas, for what Sifu was talking about, go into the core training section in the training hall, and you will be able to find what he's talking about. Tempa sent over, hi Sifu, what is Tai Chi walking?
It's learning how to feel the ground before you commit to the ground. In terms of the feet, it's to teach you how to maintain your balance. So you basically, the rule is feel the ground before you commit to the ground, like I said. So you're always learning how to put your foot down without putting your weight down. Once your foot feels the pressure on the ground, then you can transfer the weight based on what you feel on the ground. For example, now I've done Tai Chi for so many years. I've been doing it so long, and that I'm very good at feeling the energy behind it, that I've walked around barefoot before in my house, and I've stepped over a broken glass, let's say. I stepped over thumbtacks, and I stepped over broken glass not knowing that it was there, and it never pierces my feet. I can actually feel the pressure, and I don't commit to the pressure. I'd be like, whoa! And I actually walk past it. I actually still walk through it, but I never put my weight into it. And I'd be like, whoa, what was that? And I actually walk back, and I go, oh my gosh, it's a piece of glass. Or one time there was a thumbtack on the ground. I was like, whoa, my gosh. Like, I never realized that I got to that point. That just became a part of me doing it for so long that I actually don't commit to the ground anymore. I feel the ground before I commit to the ground. So I'm very sensitive to pressure and weight distributions and stuff like that, that I actually can, when I walk, I don't throw my weight to the ground. I actually can feel it before I put the pressure into it. I walked over people's feet and never put pressure on their feet. I actually can feel their toe. And for example, let's say this is the ground, and let's say this is their toe, I would be like this. If my heel's here and I put my foot here, I would never put weight here. I actually transfer the weight to the heel and then still walk forward without putting pressure on them, because I can feel the change of pressure. So Tai Chi walking is to teach you how to walk without commitment to it. So you feel the ground before you commit to the ground. And that's what it is.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Sifu. One of our family members, I don't know if he wants me to announce his name, so I'll keep it private, but if we could get those that pray to just say a prayer tonight for one of our members. Their aunt is in the hospital with dizziness, chest pain, and seeing white spots. So for those of you that pray, please keep her in your prayers for good health and for them to find out what's wrong and be able to fix it fastly. Thank you so much in advance. Sifu Larry sent over from Ojira Hanma. It's my birthday today. Well, happy birthday. So I just want to say hi to y'all. Well, hello. And we're so happy that you could join us on your birthday. That's really cool. So thank you for spending your special day with us. That's really cool. And if you have any questions, just let us know. We'll be glad to answer that and help you out. Let's see what else we have going on. Let me see if I have anything. Oh, so I'm pretty sure person did not leave their name. Well, this might be their name, Shub. I'm not sure if that's their screen name or their actual physical name, but they said, what is eating and Kung Fu training? I think what they meant to say was, you know, what should someone eat that does Kung Fu training? So I figured, I mean, I did try to clarify with them. They didn't get back to me, but I figured this would be a good question to talk about, you know, what people should be eating if they're doing Kung Fu training.
Everyone has their own preference of how they want to create a diet. You know,
be healthy, eat whole foods,
I hear the healthiest diet is grazing nuts.
Organic. Okay. Yeah. Just stick to that. Whole foods, natural, organic, as close to the source as possible. Okay. Clean, natural foods. If you want to eat more fruits and veggies, whatever. You want to eat some healthy meats, all good. Just well balanced, all natural. There you go. Take care of that body. But yeah, there's a lot of different viewpoints on that. Like we all eat completely different than each other here. So, and clearly it's working. So just do listen to your body. That's the main thing. Listen to your body. Your body knows what it needs. It's smart enough to tell you if you need some water, whatever, just listen to it. And don't listen, you know, to that one mind that's like, go eat some candy, have a piece of cake every day. Don't do that one. Don't listen to that one. Or telling you to eat a bunch of junk food. Don't listen to that one. Just listen to the good stuff. Okay. And the more you eat the good stuff, the more your body will ask for it. And eventually all that other stuff will wean out. It's like Sifu Fu says all the time about burying bad habits. It's the same thing with food. Okay. Same thing. Tempa said right on. I was reading what you guys were typing. Oh, that's funny. Time goes by too fast. I'm going to be 40 tomorrow. Well, you're in good company. Oh, Sifu, you felt old since you were at age 21. I think that's something you and Sifu Larry have in common. Like, I'm like, man, I'm going to be young when I'm 120. And you all like, I'm 20, I'm dying. Oh.
I'm old. I'm so old. Like I barely make it every day. Every day I come into work.
He's 42.
Jamie's like, listen,
Sifu
dude,
is 46.
You're not dying. I'm like, yo, dude, I'm so old.
I'm like, live, people live. Don't leave me yet, Sifus.
Yeah,
I'm not ready to take over.
How old was I when I met you? I was in my 30s, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were.
What was I, 38, 37?
Well, that was 9 years ago. So you would have been.
I was a young.
30.
I had vitality.
31.
33.
I was
33.
He's
Oh,
42. It would be 33.
Oh, yeah, 33.
So
33,
I told her
yeah.
then, because like she was in her 20s, dude. I was like, yeah, you're so young. You ain't even.
He's like, wait till you get to be my age, man. You're gonna understand. Guess what, guys and gals? I'm 36 right now, and I still don't understand. He's like, well, wait till you get in your 40s, and I'm like, yeah, okay, bro. I'll see you. No problem. But yeah, some people, they're just, you know, they just feel old at a very young age.
You know what to say? Age is the mind over matter. If you don't mind, what's the matter?
Right, there you go. Clearly they are minding and I'm not. So Douglas says, I'm 68 and I'm feeling much younger now doing Tai Chi. Absolutely. Taking care of yourself definitely helps in how you feel as you age. So take care of yourself and you can age like a fine wine. Don't, and it ain't going to be so good. All right. So,
but I have the mentality of a 15-year-old. So it all balances out.
Maybe.
No.
God willing, it will. God willing.
Oh.
All right. Tempo says, Sifu, is Tai Chi good for mental health? Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
Of course.
Anytime you're taking care of yourself, it's going to just help with your mentality. I tell people all the time that your martial arts training is seriously the best therapy that you can do for yourself, especially internal martial arts, because it really requires you to work on yourself internally as well. So while you're physically doing stuff, you're working on the internal stuff. It's going to make you face the good, bad, and the ugly. So, and make sure you really go, okay, all right, I have these bad habits. And I'm not just talking about physical bad habits, but it'll also bring out any bad habits you have in your personality and just your attitude in general. So it does help you refine yourself on a mental level as well. Yes, yes.
Yeah, just know that, when you do Tai Chi, I always say the mind, mind your thoughts because they respond to your emotion, blah, blah, blah. And I've said that a million times. So Tai Chi is about emptying your mind so you can feel connection. Your brain is like a muscle too. It receives to actually your nerves. It receives to the movement in your body. So by learning how to relax the body, you relax the mind. In turn, relax the mind, you relax the body. They go hand in hand. They work together. So yeah, of course, when you're doing Tai Chi, it's going to help your mind. And the mind is so relaxed, helps the body. If you're stressed out mentally, you become physically stressed. But if you can relearn, like that's why you see people do, okay, just breathe in deep, count to 10, and exhale. They're actually telling you how to control or relax the mind by controlling the body. They go hand in hand. The body controls the mind controls the body. They work together. Okay, so if I'm afraid of something, my heart rate might go up. If I'm angry, my heart rate go up. If something calms me down mentally, I'm with someone I care about. I love being with you. I'm just so relaxed when with you. I'm secure when with you. Then the body can relax. But it goes the same way too. When the body gets hyper, it can actually tense the mind. The body can also calm down the mind. They work hand in hand. So for example, someone's all mentally stressed out. They say, calm down, take a deep breath, hold it, and then exhale slowly. They're taking the body, trying to put the body to control, calm down. And then so that, like I said, that helps control the mind. But the mind does have supersedence over the body, okay? But the body, it's like the mind's here, the body's here, and there's a link to both of them. But the mind is above the body. The mind can actually oversee the body more than the body can oversee the mind. But there's a link between the body, the mind, the body. So when you are relaxing your body, you are in turn helping to relax the mind, especially if you can go by feel of Tai Chi, not just by movement of Tai Chi.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, a couple of good examples of like what happens, like when people have an anxiety attack, you know what I mean? Their heart rate races, they get short of breath. The same thing can happen if you panic and you're in a fighting scenario. So Tai Chi helps you to work on all that stuff and then some. So Steve Valeri is going to answer this next one from Gojira. He says, bear with me. If someone did 1,000 reps of their form in a row without fainting or something, LOL, in 2 days or whatever, would they feel like a master after those 2 days?
I'm going to address this with two separate ways. The first way is I was barely an adult when I met Sifu for the first time.
Me too.
Yeah, Sifu, so everybody says, Sifu looks young. Well, when we were young, he looked like he was 9 and he weighed like 101 pounds wet. And I walked into class and my friend, I was
going to say, everyone tells us we all look young.
My friend
believes how old we are.
My friend if I shaved, right, dude, I probably look. Anyways, my friend.
It's the martial arts. It's the
I digress. My best friend, we used to drive past Sifu's old school every day on the way into work. And one day, and I did karate before that, and he never did any martial arts. So he's like, "Why don't you check this guy out and see what he's about?" So I remember walking into his school, and Sifu demonstrated an internal punch. he hit me hard, and I saw like white. And you know, I've been spanked by my father. I've been in fights, and in all, I fell off of bicycles, off sides of foothill. I just hurt myself a lot growing up, right?
And people attacked you a lot growing up. Yeah. He was living in a rough neighborhood. The stories this bro could tell you.
I never saw white. I never ever saw like a white flash of light getting hit, and he hit me that hard. I don't know if he hit me that hard because he was young. He's like, let me just beat this kid up real fast. I don't know what the reason was, but it hurt. And so, you know, that's all you need to do. And I want to go in a corner and cry because I'm like, all right, that's it. I can't fight. I'm already scared. And so when I was taking lessons with him, I asked him, I said, you know, how did you hit me so hard? Because it didn't make sense. And his answer was, well, Qigong. So even though he tried to get me to learn Tai Chi from the moment I started training with him, it still took me a decade to get to a point in my training where I was like, you know what? I don't know what else to do. I'll do Tai Chi. But
he told me the student was ready
he hit me the way he hit me because of his Chi. And I asked him, well, how do you develop Chi? And he said Qigong. So in my brain, I'm like, I just want to hit people that hard. If I hit someone that hard, they ain't want to fight me because it hurts so bad. So that's the one form of exercise that I've done since I started training with Sifu. And I've had people ask me to hit them, and nobody's ever wanted me to hit them twice. You know, I don't, even when I hit somebody really, really hard, they tell me that I hit them really, really hard. Not that I think that I hit them really hard. I'm like, no, come on. I couldn't hit you that hard.
You've actually had a student tell you that they would shoot you if you hit them that hard. So,
yeah. And then the second thing is that I want to address that question this way is one day I felt like, you know, it was when I was 30 years old. I just turned 30. I'm like, well, you know, I might as well start working out and like look like I'm a martial artist or something. You know, I wanted to, you know, I figured if a woman could do martial arts, then a short, fat, out of shape dude could do martial arts with the same concept. So that's what I did when I first started training with Sifu. I didn't worry about, you know, if I looked like I was a martial artist. But when I was 30, I was like, well, I may as well try. So I said, Sifu, what I got to do? He's like, listen, I'm going to give you these push-ups to do, these sit-ups to do. No, he never told me that. No, come on. And he said, you're going to have to do this. And I said, okay, well, what I got to do? And I was used to going to the gym and lifting weights. So I'm like, what, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, you know, one day on, one day off. He's like, no, 7 days a week. I'm like, wait a second. What about resting? He's like, you rest? There's no rest. I'm like, so 7 days. Well, I did his program. And after about a month and a half, I was doing 150 push-ups every hour for 8 hours. And then as time went on, I held this kind of routine, and I must have did it for about, let's see, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4. I did it until I injured my collarbone and my collar popped out, and then I got all out of whack. So I must have been doing about 500 push-ups a clip. And I would do them like, you know, do them in the morning, and then a couple hours would go by and I do them again, and then I do them again. And then I would just have my kids sit on my shoulders and I do them some more. And when I was just like, wow, I'm like, what's going on? And I didn't even feel like I was doing them. So your question was, you know, if you do something so long, do you feel like a master? Well, the reality is every time
in 2 days.
Or in 2 days. Well, 2 days, 2 years, 10 years. The point is, wait, let me finish.
He thinks he's gonna be a master in 2 days.
You're always going to think, if you do anything, you're always going to think that, hey, dude, I must be a master now. But if you really search yourself, you're going to realize.
Have you actually ever felt that on this journey?
Yeah, I did.
I have not.
For 5 seconds.
I've known. I blow.
I felt like a master for 5 seconds.
There's no such thing as mastering this journey.
And then I went to class,
learning and
then Sifu beat me up. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm not a master. I suck. That was like last week.
All right, well.
And the preceding weeks. So I beat up on Jamie and feel really good. And then Sifu beats up on me and I feel really bad. And it's a vicious cycle that just goes on and on and on. It never ends.
Yeah, well, that's true. So the point is, if you feel like a master in a couple of days of training like that, then you need to check yourself. Because you're
let me answer this question too. There's training and there's proper training.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay, because you can train and you can train wrong for 1,000 reps, and you'll have 1,000 reps of bad training. Yeah. So it's not about how much you train in the overall quality of how well you train.
Yes.
Okay, because you can do
consistency over time.
You can do something 10,000 times wrong, and that's not going to help you. It helps you to enforce bad habits, not good ones. So it's not necessarily the numbers, it's the quality in it. You know, a friend of mine talked about
quantity over quality.
One of the things he like to say is it's not a matter of how long you've been on the road, it's how far you get on it.
Right.
You can be on the road for 20 years and went a mile, and someone could be on there for 2 days and went 5 miles. So it's the quality over quantity. You know, having a lot of crap versus one good thing. You know, I'd rather have the one good thing than 1,000 crappy things. Quality over quantity. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you do quality with quantity, anytime you do it, you're helping your muscle to remember that move without thought. So the more repetitions you do with proper repetition, it's going to get you better. In terms of mastery, that's a matter of comparison. It depends on how you want to look at it. To me, mastery is doing it without thought and with ease. That's when you know you've got it mastered.
Right.
Okay.
Proficiently.
One of the things I learned in music, and I tell my students this too, when they do a move, they practice, you have to do it 25 times in a row without stopping, without mistakes. If you have to stop, slow down, that's a mistake. So you have to slow down or stop, think about it, or you make a mistake, then you don't have it down yet. So one of the things I do when I have my students doing the job, I teach them a routine. I say, okay, practice this, practice. You got to give me 25 times in a row without a mistake, without slowing down. If you didn't, you got to start all over from zero. So if you're on 24 and you mess up, you're at zero again. You start all over till you do 25 times without mistake, without slowing down, without pause. That's when you know you got it down. And that's one of the things I have my students do repetition-wise, you know, to get it down. And then they have to do it without mistakes, without flaws, without this, and to get their muscles down. So again, and they do it within, let's say, an hour type of training, but they do that all the time.
Right, consistency over time.
And I watch them do it, and I help them. If I see a flaw, I say, listen, do it more like this. Make sure you do this, and I get them to do it. By the time an hour's up, they usually get to 25. But that doesn't mean they mastered it. No, they started their first step to master.
Right.
You know, like I said, mastering is being able to do it on a consistent level, to do it without thought, and do it with ease and proficiency and effectiveness.
Yes.
So, that's when you know.
And I would say even speed.
You know, when you do it without thinking about it, it just happened. Like it just happened. You know, like for example, I got jumped by a friend of mine. Like he jumped out of the corner somewhere. I didn't know he was there. He just jumped out and just.
Why would anyone try to jump you? That just seems like a bad idea.
and instinctively, I didn't even think. I didn't do nothing. I just naturally went for the pin and I struck him in the head with the back side of my head, and he went to the floor. And when I realized it was him, I was like, oh man, like. And he's, oh my gosh! Oh, he's like, it hurts. It hurts. I feel this sharp pain in my brain. I can't. Oh. And he's like on the floor. It's just like, oh my gosh. He's like, stop talking to me. Like, And he's on the ground in pain. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. I mean, I didn't know you were there. He just jumped out of nowhere. He just grabbed me and he got me.
Let me give you all just a really good common sense piece of advice right here. Don't ever just randomly try to scare or jump out on anyone that's even remotely good at martial arts, especially one that is good as Sifu, okay? You're just going to get hurt. It will not be funny and you will not laugh. Just don't do it. So I don't care how curious you are to see what will happen. It's not going to feel good.
Well, the result was he was on the floor. I didn't even realize that he went for that. Like I said, it happened instinctively. You know, I didn't know. It was just as soon as I felt this grab in the pin, I just
right. You don't know who it is. You don't know if they're trying to hurt
by
you.
the time, you know, he's on the floor, and I hear, oh, he's on the floor, like just he can't even move, and he was just and he did. I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. And and he was just on the floor at least 10 minutes. He was in so much pain. He's like, he felt like his brain was being stabbed. He just was in so much pain. He had pressure on his head. He just could not move for 10 minutes on the floor. I was like, oh man, you want me to help? He's like, no. I gotta lie here. I can't move. I was like, man, sorry. But it wasn't that necessarily that I just hit fast, but it was because I pinpoint that hit. It didn't go anywhere but right to the point in which I projected it to.
I believe that. So Curtis Hamilton says, I found Inner Shaolin on Roku channel. I just bought a Fire TV today. I was surprised to find it actually has more content than Roku. You guys should put Inner Shaolin on Amazon Fire TV, much bigger company and possibly more student exposure. I was just looking at the Fire TV apps and I don't see Inner Shaolin. So I know, Curtis, you just kind of recently found us not too long ago. So that's why you don't know the whole story behind it. We started with Roku because it was the most affordable platform at the time when we first started doing our Roku channel, which has been like over a year and a half ago, I believe by now. Yeah, about that. So that's why we went with them. We also, as soon as we did Roku, our intention is to eventually get to Fire TV, Google, iTunes, pretty much every application that you can think out there is our intent, but that requires funds that we currently don't have, which is why we're not on there. So Roku just happened to be the easiest platform for us to get started and the most affordable, which is why we started there. And Fire TV wasn't really as big when we first started that. It just really started taking off, I would say, within the last year. So it is something that we plan on doing. It's just not feasible currently right now. So we hear you and we definitely appreciate the feedback. Let's see, Jared said, how did your head feel, Sifu?
Fine. I felt nothing.
Well, yeah, I was going to say.
I said the engine him. I didn't get the feedback.
Yeah, I was going to say the other person was the one that wasn't feeling so good after that.
The only thing I felt bad was my emotion because I heard him. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to.
Well, you thought you were under siege. I mean, that's just what, like I said, just don't try to surprise attack someone that's good at martial arts. It's not going to end favorably. It's just not. Just don't do it. Carrie says, what are some concepts that you use to off balance your opponent mentally and physically? Is there a certain way to set up the opponent?
Well, mentally, I always tell people the first weapon you always have is your brain. Don't let them get to you emotionally because that'll affect your judgment. It'll affect your play because you can get mad and you just want to hurt the guy and you'll commit to doing anything to hurt them and you can make mistakes. To me, it's always about a mind game. I play the mind game. Like some of the things I like to say is like, show me what you know, I'll show you what you don't, And if someone says, you afraid of, it's like, yeah, for you, not of you. Like I am mentally ready to answer them back with a question, with an answer that puts it on them. In terms of physical balance, in terms of a loss of balance and control, it has to be contact, obviously. So I always teach the control on a person on their upper body lies basically in 3 points, okay? The arms, the shoulders, and the neck to the head, somewhere between there. So you make contact and you affect those points, and that's how you can control people and throw them off balance. Don't try to go by the hands. People has too much mobility in their shoulders and arm. They can pull the hand away, and you won't be able to get them. Unless you can wrap the wrist, control the wrist, and torque the wrist, it's very difficult to get to. So lots of times when they're trying to come in on you, grab you, punch you, a forearm to the elbow, controlling that to the shoulder or the neck. To the head. Those are your control points that actually take someone off balance. You got to feel the energy. You got to return the energy through the torque, through the three-proof, and then bring the energy back on one point, offset the other side, and you can throw them off balance very easily because of that. Put it in a nutshell.
Yeah, there you go. That is in a nutshell. So let me see if there's Tempa Westbrook says Kung Fu tortures. Yeah, if it's done right, it definitely does not feel so good. He also said that he's maybe had high blood pressure, and Tai Chi helps with that. And yes, that is something that is very common to help people with high blood pressure with Tai Chi. So I'm glad that you're able to experience that. Let me see if we have anything else. Doesn't look like it. So before we wrap up, because it's already a little bit after, just real quick, I wanted to share, if you are coming to the seminar, pay attention. I am sending out an email tomorrow morning in regards to, I know some people wanted some of our ball caps, which I don't have one to show you right now, but just imagine a ball cap sitting on my head. It's black and it's got the embroidered Inner Shaolin logo on it, and voila, that's the one that we're going to have with us. So I'm going to take some pre-orders for those to see who wants one when they show up, so I can have it ready for you. And a couple other things that I need to know, like your plus one. Are they going to be training? Are they going to be watching? Are they going to be out sightseeing? Just so I can get over the catering numbers to the hotel, and also make sure that the room is set up properly to accommodate everyone. So if you're going to the seminar, check your inbox tomorrow. I will be sending out an email. For those of you that are not members yet, or would like to upgrade, here's what we have going on. We have a sale that's going on for 7 days. It just started, so you haven't missed out on anything just yet. You can go to entershaolin.com/live. That's LIVE, entershaolin.com/live. And you will find that you can get all of our memberships at their founder prices, which means the prices we originally sold it at, which is mostly 50% off or more, depending on the membership. So if you're not a member yet, you can check that out. If you're currently a member and you are, say, a light member or a junior member and you want to upgrade, take advantage of that as well. And if you're already, say, an Abbott member, but you know you want to give an Abbott membership to someone that you love as a gift, you're able to do that too. Just make sure that you're logged in, and that way you can go to checkout. You can choose the gift option, and you'll be able to send a link to that person, and they'll be able to get their Abbott gift from you. We've had a couple of members do that, and it's one of the most amazing gifts that you can give someone is access to this training that we do for life. So that's all I have to say for tonight. And Sifu's about to fall asleep on me, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. He's just yawning. I know. So we hope you enjoyed this webinar, and if you want to see more to come, definitely check us out at Patreon. Sorry, I was just thinking, I was about to say entershaolin.com, but Patreon is patreon.com/entershaolin. We got some exclusive content that you won't find even on entershaolin.com, plus some other bonuses depending on how much you want to donate for us to do more videos like this and all kinds of other interesting things that we're looking to do for all of you. You can see our goal is to hit 5,000 a month, and what we plan on doing with that is finishing getting the equipment that we need for the DVDs, as well as being able to bring some people on board to help us behind the scenes so we can give you all more content and do more for you all. So help us help you, and check that out too. And if you have any questions between now and Friday, email us at support@entershaolin.com, and we'll be glad to assist you. All right, we'll see you on Friday. Have a great night.
Thank you.